Hi guys, welcome to the third episode of Bistec Global Technology Podcast. We are live streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we have this is the third one. This is the third episode. Uh, in this episode, we have pretty interesting topics. .NET 8 released, .NET 8 preview version released recently, and GPT-4 was released. That is the most exciting for technology community throughout the world. So we are going to talk about those things as well as some front-end frameworks and JavaScript frameworks also. Okay then, let's start. Let's roll the intro. Okay, let's start. I'm Gayashan from Bistec Global.
And I'm Chandima Ranaweera from Bistec Global.
Okay, Chandima, how are you? Good evening.
As of now, good,
Okay.
but we had some setbacks last week.
Yeah, exactly. But now all is okay. Yeah. All right. So for the topics today, we have the first topic of today would be Next.Js 8 preview version, right? As far as I know, preview 1 as well as preview 2 was released, and there is not much, but there are some things that we can discuss. We have to be aware of, right?
We are talking about .NET 8.
Yes.
So I'm sharing my screen. So you can see the official announcement on the dev blog, Microsoft dev blog, right? So there are quite the features available on .NET 8. So you can see updates on Blazor and updates on Entity Framework Core and some on Mavi, right? So there are a lot, there are some performance improvements that they are trying to do. And also there are a lot of libraries being ported to .NET Core from the original .NET framework, like this WinForms and WPF. That was moving bit by bit to .NET Core. And I think Blazor is the one getting the attention from everyone.
Yeah, we have Blazor United. That is the most exciting feature of the .NET 8 preview, I guess.
Yeah, I think Steve Sanderson, the Microsoft programming manager, so he has done a nice presentation on .NET Blazor United, right? So what we had before is you have these Razor pages, and you have the web API, right? Then we suddenly got this Blazor features implemented. Now what you have is two different streams that you can connect and use to implement web pages. Now what they are looking at is combining those two. So in classical MVC, the Razor pages, you can also mount Blazor components, so vice versa. So that way you can take the full features of Blazor and the Razor side together.
Yeah. So Mavi was released and Blazor was released in the earlier versions. I guess with .NET 6 and with .NET 7. But now they are focusing how to integrate, how to make good performance out of them, and they are upgrading libraries. And in this release, what I feel is they are trying to improve the performances, right?
Yeah, so I have seen a lot of new collection types that has been introduced, right? Like this frozen dictionary and frozen set, where you can use for high performance algorithms. So basically .NET team is moving towards that, making the .NET the fastest framework on the world, something like that, right? So last time we talked about .NET 7, and I think mentioned that ASP.NET Core can support up to 7 million records request at a second, right?
Yeah.
So something like that. So what they're trying to do is improve that benchmark.
Yeah. Yeah. Now talking about .NET, we have these pretty like exciting and growing, improving front-end libraries such as Next.Js. We talked about Next.Js 13 in the last episode. So now I think .NET team, Microsoft team is trying to like get people into I mean to develop like front end, get people into the front end to use .NET to develop front end applications.
Yeah, so the idea is, Gayashan, like now the people who are doing .NET are mostly familiar with .NET, right? So the language with C# and everything. What they are trying to do is like let those guys, the .NET guys, develop everything. So there is this norm like you have front-end developers and back-end developers. Why that was there? Because the front-end was developed mostly on JavaScript, and the .NET developers were like alienated to that. Now what has happened is like you can develop the front-end using .NET, C# and everything, and .NET people get the full front-end and back-end experience, the development experience. So the the JavaScript frameworks are no longer like a barrier to them, right? So you don't have to know JavaScript to develop web pages. You can use full .NET framework and implement the full web pages.
Yeah, so that is the way that they are going to like they are going to improve the .NET. So I myself is like I am as a full stack developer. I use .NET for the backend and I use React or Next.js for the front end. It's so good that if we can use .NET completely for the front end and backend, it's a nice experience, I would say, because .NET have these really good ecosystem. They have all the like libraries. I mean, it's huge, right? It's huge, and the community is also huge. So yeah, it's good. It's a good move.
Yeah. So I think what .NET team is doing is there's a roadmap that is being created by the community, right? So they request different features from the GitHub repo, right? And what they are doing is they are making priorities among those requests, and based on the number of requests that they are getting, they are prioritizing the items, and those items are like released on the next version.
That is also like it's a really good thing, right? Because now .NET is open source, so they are considering the community feedback, because the framework is for the community, and they should, I mean, any framework, right? They should consider developers' experience, developers' concerns. It's real nice that when companies addressing those things, it's a good thing.
Yeah, so that is I think one of the main factors that is driving the .NET team, right? So otherwise .NET is like saturated and there won't be like new changes to that. But what drives .NET team, even the language itself is changing, right? So you get new these record types, then you will have the primitive constructed in the next release. Likewise, these discriminated joint unions, like, so a lot of features will be added to the language. Why that is happening is because the community is driving that. So they are requesting features, and they are like not only requesting, they are also contributing, right? Since .NET is open sourced, and the people can create PRs to the original repo, right? So what they do is they make a sample, or maybe they implement the complete feature of the language, and they create a pull request, and that pull request getting reviewed and being like jumbled around. So the .NET team actually picks up this feature is good, this feature can be developed, and this feature can be enhanced, right? So likewise they pick up the public ideas and they make it into the language.
Yeah, that is how you make a framework healthy, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, talking about Microsoft technologies, we have pretty exciting topic to talk with you. Actually, it was released like a week ago. Not released yet, but it was introduced a week ago. Microsoft Copilot. Let's keep it to the last one because we have so many things to talk about Microsoft Copilot as well as GPT-4. So next, let's go to the next topic. We are going to talk about JavaScript library, JavaScript front-end framework. Maybe you would think like, oh, like another JavaScript framework, but this is not just another one. This is Solid.Js. We have talked about Next.Js 13 and also Quick.js. Now, Solid.js is also a trending topic in the JavaScript community when you are talking about the front-end frameworks.
Yeah, so Solid basically follows React, I would say, right? But in terms of the performance and the size of the bundle, I think Solid is taking the front, right? So I'm sharing my screen again. So if you go to the solidjs.com, you can see the performance benchmark, right? So you can see like it's almost
vanilla JS.
Almost vanilla JS, right? So it's just 9 kilobytes. That means like a small text file, and the benchmarks are very good, like compared to maybe React and Angular. You see like the half of the time if you are using Solid. And also you can see the code sample that is presented on the home page. That is very much similar to this React, right? So you have this create signal, which is very much equivalent to use state in React, right? Where you can create an object and manipulate that one and maintain the state. And the thing with Solid.js is like the create signal returns an event emitter, right? So this count and set count both are methods. They are not in React, the count is a value, a primitive value, and the set count is a method. But in this case, count is actual method that you have to call. And the funny thing is like when you call this count, it will actually create a subscription, right? So whatever the HTML that is been using that method will be automatically updated if that value is been updated somewhere else. That's like very powerful stuff.
Yeah, that concept, that reactivity model of the Solid.js, actually that is the most exciting or like most favorite part for me of Solid.js, because not like React, this feature makes Solid.js like a special framework, right? And it I guess it is the feature that gives this fast performance for Solid.js.
Yeah, so what they are saying is like rather than having the VDOM constructed every time and making sure that unidirectional data flow is maintained, so if they can use these signals, right? So they can make sure that they will identify what parts of the DOM will be updated accordingly. Right?
Not like React, right? React is using virtual DOM, but
so the Solid is trying to use the actual DOM as much as possible, right? That way the construction, the time to observe the VDOM, that kind of complexity is gone.
And Solid.js is also using JSX. So if you are developing with React, this code will not like make you alienated. It's like it looks familiar and it's yeah, they're using JSX. So if you are familiar with React, you will able to go with Solid like very easily. It's
Yeah.
another nice one.
So Solid actually has like one-to-one mapping to React functions, normal hooks and everything. You get a use memo, a create memo is there in Solid, and for the use effect you have a create effect. Likewise, the similarity is very much there, but the functionality or the inner execution is much different, right? But again, like in Solid, what you get is if you use, let's say, create effect. So in React, what you have to do is for the use effect, you have to give list of dependencies, right? But in this case, you don't have to. So this Solid will automatically pick it up.
Yeah.
So that is really nice.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that
you
is
are getting so many warnings, right? In React, you have seen that exhaustive dependencies array.
Yeah. Like people are always getting the most painful linting error is like exhaustive dependencies.
Yeah.
So yeah, the approach is different from React, and yeah. Now, when I am thinking about the front-end frameworks, we have like React have a huge ecosystem, and now the trend is React team is closely working with Vercel, with Next.Js team. So we have this nicely built, nicely like they have like solid ground for the React ecosystem. And talking about Quick, we discussed about Quick in the in another episode. People can use Quick for like content heavy applications, right? So there is a you can differentiate React from Quick. The approaches are pretty different. But when you're talking about Solid, React and Solid is not so different. Underlying architecture is different, and there is a performance difference also. But as a developer perspective, do you have to like do you have to abandon React or Next.js for Solid? When you should use Solid? What kind of projects that you can or that you should use Solid? What are your insights?
Yeah, so what I feel is like if you are like stuck with React, then like the next best framework that you want to get out is Solid, right? So if you want to have a very performant system, so if you are doing like large number of elements on the UI and you want to do like quick calculations and maybe a game like something, right? So I think you have to go with Solid, and you can make a good start there. And also in Solid, I think they are creating a new framework kind of thing called Solid Start, right? So which I am sharing on the screen. So you can see like Solid Start is equivalent to Quick City that we talked about last time, and also Next.js, like the server-side rendering, the routing, and all the ecosystem which is built in, right? So, but this is in alpha version, but I hope that it will come to the production version very soon, right? And I guess it has a lot of features, and it actually contains these the Next.js features plus some of the features from NGRX, I would say, for state management and everything. It's a good start.
Yeah, they have server-side rendering and static site generation, nested routing, all the things that were provided for you in Next.js 13. And also now the React introduced server-side rendering recently, and Next.js is quickly implemented server-side rendering for their newest release. And I guess now there is a tendency to go with the server-side rendering as much as you can, right? So yeah.
So even in Solid, I think that is the path they are trying to take, right?
Yeah.
So the servers are fast now; they can afford a lot of load, right? So they tend to generate a lot of responses quickly, and they can cache the responses if it is the static sites, right? Basically, So I think Solid is trying to go there, and with Solid, what I see is like the simplicity, right? So you can do the same thing with React, but you have to do a lot of coding. But in Solid, I think you can use couple of lines and easy to understand. Those the reading the code is very much simple.
Yeah, that is a funny thing that React is a nice framework. Yeah, that is true. But React code can be get messy like really quickly, right? Because I have seen people, if you're not managing the state like nicely, your code as well as your application can get really messy and get really like performance will be a barrier for you. So yeah, you should try it out, try out Solid and see if you can write a better code for the same thing. Then Solid will be a better
Yeah.
framework for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. So the learning curve of Solid is also very short, right? Because of that, I think you can adapt quickly, and hopefully you will get the same performance and maybe even better performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are going to talk about another JavaScript framework, but this is also special because we love, I mean, I personally love .NET and also ASP.NET Core. So Nest.Js. Nest.Js is, it just feels like ASP.NET Core, right? And it's a completely different JavaScript framework. And yeah, let's talk about Nest.js. And it's coming to the topics. It's like a trending framework in these days.
Yeah. So I think most of you are familiar with Angular, right? So Angular was released like maybe 2014 or 15, right? So after that, I think that the coding structures, the Google team, the Angular team actually uh, created a very good structure of the application, right? The code base. They have a very good style guide, and even these feature modules, the annotations like the add component, and I think this add component and add service, add injectable, these were like introduced because of Angular, right? Now this framework Nest is actually I think inspired from that Angular system,
Yeah.
right? So
they have borrowed like so many concepts from Angular, right?
yeah, so if you read the code of Nest.js, you can you can't really see the difference. It's almost like Angular, right? So you will see everything is like Angular. Here I am sharing my screen, so you can see like the app controller is there, and the render method is there, which is okay. Just give me a second. Okay, so this app controller, the render method, and everything is very much similar to Angular, right? So it is almost like Angular, but it's a web API. It's serving APIs on the HTTP, and it's quite marvelous. Like if you go into the details of Nest.js, you can see like almost every feature that you can see on ASP.NET Core,
Yeah,
right? So you get this routing, the middlewares, the authentication, the logs, and everything is there.
Yeah. If you're familiar with ASP.NET Core, then like you will quickly get it up with the Next.js because it's like it's just feels very similar.
Yeah.
So Nest.js built upon Express.js, right? Express was very popular when you are building backend, I mean APIs, REST APIs or GraphQL APIs. Why people should use Nest.js instead of Express.js?
Yeah, I would say that is basically the all the features plus my favorite point is the structure of the application, right? So if you use Express, right? So there is no limitation or no restriction to use your files everywhere. So it get cluttered easily, and you can import from different places, and the code gets messy very quickly, right? But with Nest.Js, which is following Angular patterns, right? So you have a predefined file for everything. For the controller you have a file, for the service you have a file, and for the schemas, the Prisma and everything. So you get all the files organized nicely, and they are defined, right? So we have a defined system of files and how to use them, and very good documentation, right? I think Nest.js is the best one if you are going for Node.js backend.
Yeah. So Nest.js, like in their structure, in their framework, natively they enforce clean code. Like
Yeah.
you have to like you cannot go messy. Like if you want to go messy, you will be. But you can there is a clear project structure in Nest.js projects. Yeah, that is really
So
nice.
one thing is there's a trade-off, right? So with Angular also, what I have seen is like if you are going to develop even a simple application, you get a lot of boilerplate, right? And the time is very consuming when you are going for small applications. But if you are going for a full-blown application, very large project, I think going with Angular or maybe Nest.js will be beneficial in the long run. So that is there.
Yeah.
And also I can say a bit about this Nest.js microservices, right? So Nest.js actually comes with this microservices architecture in mind, right? So you get the base, what do you call it, this application gateway or something, right? So you have the gateway project, then you have like little microservices that you can create, and they can be combined into one application gateway, right? So this microservices architecture is like built in. That is a quite powerful thing. So because if you are going with Node and you get like 1 to 2 files and you are creating creating a full application within like 1 or 2 files. But with Nest.js you can actually architecture it into different microservices, and maybe you can give one microservice to one team, the other one to the next team. Likewise, you can build a very large project using the features that Nest.js has provided.
Yeah. So if you're going to build a backend with Node, then Nest.js is a really good option for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's jump into the most favorite topics in today's session. GPT-4. We talked about GPT-3 and 3.5 and ChatGPT in the I guess was released last year, I think November, December.
Yeah.
I'm not remember very much, but now the newest release of newest product of the OpenAI, GPT-4, was released. It's not given to you with ChatGPT free version, but if you are using ChatGPT paid version, the premium version, it's just $20 per month. You can use it. It's worth it. That is my opinion. And you can use GPT-4 with limitations, but you can use it. So yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your? I'm sure you have so many things to talk about GPT-4, because AI is a big topic in whole world right now, right?
Yeah. So I'm quoting the other product, the Microsoft Copilot. So what they are saying is like this, whatever the task that we are doing, right? 20% is the one that we actually do.
Exactly.
The 80% is boilerplate,
Yes,
right?
boilerplate,
So
yeah.
you are repeating the same thing over and over again, repeating the same thing, and your input is very little, right? So what these AI tools are trying to solve is that problem, right? So you input only the thing that you need to input from your end. The rest, the boilerplate things, the AI will do for you.
Yeah.
And this GPT-4, I think it is mentioned that GPT-4 is been trained for 6 months within OpenAI servers, right? So I think whatever the inputs that was given to ChatGPT, GPT 3.5, been used, and it has enhanced that same module.
Yeah.
And I think they have added new features like the support for text and audio, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And also video, I guess.
Yeah, GPT 3.5 is just a text model, but this is a multi-model. This can like process text, video, audio, and images. It's not released for the public yet, but it's there. If you saw that developer live stream done by OpenAI team, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there was a very good example, like you draw the website structure in a paper and you give it to ChatGPT and it will give you the code for that site,
Yeah,
right?
it's mind blowing for me.
Yeah, so then I think the developers' work will be very lesson, right? There will be a challenge introduced for the developers, but again, that's the new era, right?
Yeah. So when you're talking about the text processing of GPT-4, it has like it was already there. Like so many mind-blowing features was there with GPT 3.5, the ChatGPT. But now with GPT-4, it's even enhanced. It's even advanced. But
Yeah, what I feel is like GPT-4, what they have enhanced a lot is these prompts, right? So previously, I think you have to mention a lot to get the output. Now what they have done is like you have to input less, but it will give you they will guess for you, right? And give you the output exactly based on your short prompts.
yeah.
And those prompts, I think, has to be now more natural language ordered. Like previously, you have to use those keywords, otherwise you won't get the output. No, now what they are expecting is more natural language. And I saw a recent article about this Mid-Journey, right? Mid-Journey 5 was released.
Mid-Journey version 5, yeah.
Yeah, so they are what this developer is doing is like they are using this chat GPT to generate the text, right? So it's asking about this bottle, no, sorry, ship in the bottle, right? And it is actually giving a large text about this ship in the bottle from the chat GPT with all the details. And that detailed description is being input for the Mid-Journey. And Mid-Journey generates an image very much like what is being described by the ChatGPT.
Yeah. Previously, with Mid-Journey, like you have to some kind of experience or knowledge how to put your keywords. It was based on keywords. You have to structure your keywords. You have to give the proper keyword. You couldn't use 100% natural language for the Mid-Journey, right? But now you can describe anything you want, like in the natural language, and now it can understand it, and it will generate an image based on that. So it's like it's becoming like human, like something like a human artist. The Mid-Journey application, the Mid-Journey system. I think with the help of ChatGPT, GPT-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I strongly recommend you to watch that developer live stream of OpenAI team, because there are so many interesting things. And GPT, when you are talking about GPT 3.5, we showed you how to build application, like giving it describing it. This is what I want. This is the website what I want. This is the things what I need. And now that programming assistance feature, it's even enhanced. Like it can read an image or anything with a very small input, and it can generate all the code that you need. And also there is a really nice example from that live stream. you can build a Discord chatbot using GPT, and the thing that you're experiencing is when you copy and paste those codes, the GPT model don't know about the environment, right? For example, if you are in the Jupyter playbook, they don't know that you are the Jupyter playbook, right? Then you are getting like bunch of errors. Then now with GPT-4, you can copy just the error and paste it, and it will understand this is the context. This person is running this code in the Jupyter. Now I have to change the code accordingly. So like these things are like pretty interesting and very advanced. For me. And and now we talked about education using AI for the educational purposes. And I saw that if you have heard about Khan Academy is a like global free education providing company. I think it's a non-profitable organization, and they are integrating GPT-4 for their platform. Now GPT-4 is acting like a personal teaching assistant for the students.
Yeah. So what I feel is like this GPT-4 or the OpenAI APIs, right? So there are like so many use cases that you can use. The core of it is like you have to identify that one, right? So previously we had these mobile platforms coming in, right? Like the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. So at that time, a lot of people created new apps, and the Play Stores were flooded, right? So the same thing will happen for these OpenAI platforms, because a lot of people are consuming these APIs, and they will create like very much good use cases using these AI tools, and I think that should be a very good opportunity for us as well.
Yeah.
So we will be able to utilize OpenAI, not only OpenAI, like all the API platforms that is available, and we can create our own products wrapping those APIs. That will be the future for us.
Yeah, like when you're thinking about these things, these technologies, when ChatGPT was released, like all the not only the developers, like whole world, the Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube, all the social media was flooded with the post about GPT and the mid journey like ChatGPT, and now they released GPT-4. It happened again.
Yeah.
So what I feel is this will be the era that we will get a huge leap in terms of programming, because we are programmers. We are always thinking about the this direction.
I have seen this word called prompt engineering, right? So which is like the programming language for ChatGPT, right? So it's not you write on JavaScript or you write on .NET. You write on natural language, but with a specific format, right? So that is called this prompt engineering. And I have seen like a lot of repositories which is containing these prompts that can be used to get very accurate results from ChatGPT, and they have been even sold for different prices, right? So maybe the programmers in the future will be only doing that prompt engineering. I don't know, can happen.
Yeah, maybe that will be required skill that you have to be a programmer in future, maybe.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have seen this. There's a new TV series called Arc, right? So in that series, they have a AI, right? So whenever they want to create some new program, let's say they want to hack into some system, what they are doing is they are not actually creating that program. They are asking the AI to create that program. I want to hack this system. Can you please create something for this? And the AI actually generates the code and hacks into the system. So there are pros and cons, but in the future, like you will be able to like create those programs on the fly, but you will have to know the language to talk to the AI.
Yeah, yeah. It's a rabbit hole if you want to jump in. Like when you're talking about programming, maybe in the future you don't have to learn JavaScript or any language. Maybe you you won't need any compiler or any technology, because AIs will be interacting directly with the hardware. They will create a compiler on the fly. Just
Might
a thought, right?
will happen.
Yeah. Okay, now GPT-4 API is not released yet, even for the paid version or anything, but it will be released very recently, and the multimodal features will be released. And yeah, what our thought is like, be aware of these things, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, Ride the wave, I guess.
Right the way.
Okay, now talking about Microsoft, Microsoft 365 Copilot was just announced a week ago. There is a video on the Microsoft site. I strongly recommend you to watch it. And what they are doing is, Microsoft is closely working with OpenAI team, because I guess Microsoft is the biggest funder for the OpenAI in the past. So what they are doing is integrating the GPT models, the AI, and Microsoft Graph, the data, and Microsoft 365, the apps. And they are integrating those three components, and they are like giving you a huge technology or assistance or co-pilot, whatever you can call it. Like
Clippy.
yeah, if you remember that Clippy in the old ages, they are like creating a hugely improved version of Clippy for Copilot. So yeah, what are your thoughts about that, Chandima? It's a huge thing, right?
Yeah, so what I feel is like even Microsoft is using these OpenAI APIs. That is a fact, right? But what they're trying to do is again come up with new business ideas, right? So this Word, as I mentioned earlier, like Word or Excel or any other like Office application that we are using, we are only giving like 20% of our work for the creative work, right? So the rest of the things are boilerplate. So what they are trying to minimize is that. So let's say you want to generate a graph based on the data. So that is like you have to select the data on the Excel and go to a function. So something like that. You can do the same thing over and over again and do the same thing every day. But again, or else you can use Microsoft Copilot and ask it to generate the same graph for you. You don't have to do anything, right? And what's good about this Microsoft graph integration is the security, right? So in ChatGPT, the data, the full set of data is available to everyone.
Yeah, it's open, right?
It's open. But with Microsoft Copilot, what I feel is because it is using Microsoft Graph API, which is like integrated API into all the Microsoft bits, right? Office 365 and all the Azure and every Microsoft API has been integrated to that, right? And all these permissions and everything that is been recorded somewhere. And when you are trying to access data, right? So the graph will tell you, so this document, this piece of Word document or this piece of Excel document you are trying to access is not been shared with you. Because of that, you can't include those data. But the rest, whatever the data that you have access to, those will be considered when you are generating the new response. So it's ChatGPT with security, I guess.
Yeah. Now Microsoft 365 is mainly used for, they are one of their main focuses, or maybe the most important focus is the business. So when you're talking about business, there are data that you cannot leak, that you cannot share with anyone. So you have to think about how to integrate AI with those secure data, right? So I think Microsoft has built that system as Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah. And one other thing about Microsoft is they already had like AI systems like this Lewis and everything. So, but they were not so impressive, and you had to do like lot of things to make them work, right? The developers has to do much, but with this open AI integration, I think that has been very been done by the Microsoft itself, right? We don't have to do anything; we just have to consume it.
Yeah.
And even this I think Microsoft virtual power agents and everything is now being integrated to Copilot, and it will be like very easy to create a bot in the fly, right? In the future, sorry, let's say you want to create a bot for your website. So what you have to do is you create the virtual bot, and you like integrate that to Copilot and ask it to like generate the all the responses for your site. So likewise, like the development time will be very less.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Now, as Microsoft mentioned in their website, as also if you're thinking about your work, most of your work hours are spent for the boilerplate work, right? Not your like when you are like yeah when you are writing an summary for a report, then like maybe that is the that is a good example. You can just copy that text of the report into the Copilot or whatever using Copilot, and you can ask it to give me a summary with these number of sentences, with 20 number of sentences.
Yeah, I have seen this the email sending part, the replying to an email, that is been like fully automated, right? So you just have to like review it and send it. Nothing to do, right? So you read the mail trail and ask Copilot to generate the response for you, and you review it, and if everything is okay, you send it, right? So the same thing is applied on Teams, I guess. Like let's say you are in a meeting, and you joined some with some minutes late, right? So you can ask Copilot like what is the summary of the meeting so far, and it will tell you like this is the mindset of the people in the team meeting, right? And it will tell you like this is where you have to start. That's a huge improvement, I guess. Like it can even read the minds of the people who are in the meeting.
Yeah, it can like it is able to build like personalities. These people is like this, and with the words they use and with the tone and all, considering all the things, yeah, that's pretty impressive. And the what I feel is the bottom line is it try to reduce your time on work, then you will be able to, the first thing is you will get more free time, right? You won't overload, your stress will be reduced hopefully. And the other thing is you will be able to use your mental energy on more important things,
More creative work.
yes,
Definitely.
and that is pretty interesting and is really impressive.
Yeah, so as developers, I guess we are looking more or less for challenges, no? So doing the same thing, that becomes boring to us.
We
no?
don't like it.
Yeah, but then we can ask ChatGPT or the Copilot to do that thing, and we can work on our creativity.
Yeah. If you use these AI technologies like correctly, then you will be able to make your life more happier. Yeah.
Yeah, so it can be the other way also. You have to be careful.
The choice is yours.
Yeah.
So okay, now finally, Microsoft 365 Copilot is not available publicly yet because it's just announced, but it will be available very soon. So
Yeah, I guess it's available for like the inner circle,
yeah,
the business users, but soon.
for everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's it for today's session. We would like to have your comments, have your ideas, have your thoughts. We would like to share those things with you. So you can comment on our videos or our LinkedIn page or website, Facebook page or our YouTube channel. So yeah, please don't forget to follow and subscribe our YouTube, LinkedIn as well as Facebook. See you in the next month. Bye.
Thank you.